Hello and welcome to the morning show, teeing off with RevSportz. A very good morning to all of you present. Lots going on in the sporting world. We have two newcomers, not two newcomers, but two new talking points in world cricket. The Boxing World Championship is on. Badminton Swiss Open. Indian cricket team will be playing the third ODI versus Australia. Indian football team will be playing versus Myanmar. So lots to discuss. And to discuss, we have Boria Majumdar and Devashish Sen joining us. Good morning, Vedanta. Good morning, Devashish.
Good morning.
Yeah, so we'll start with cricket. I'll come to India, Australia, but before that, our thoughts on these not newcomers, but the new talking points in world cricket, Nepal's success and the Major League Cricket. Boria, you go first.
See, Nepal is crazy. I mean, if you've seen some of the visuals, and by the way, may I say that the piece by Bharat Ramraj is a must read for anybody. I mean, I read it yesterday at one go. It's a long piece, but I learned a lot. I mean, I am someone who follows Nepal cricket. I had done a talk show last year with Paras Khadka and a number of others from Nepal. Paras is a good friend of mine. But the kind of craze, and then Jatin Aluwale, another friend of ours, did that Nepal League in September. And by the way, let me also point out that we are talking about the men's cricket team. But if you go and see now, if you see women's cricket in Nepal, every stadium is full. Every stadium is full for every game. That is the kind of passion you have for the women's game also in Nepal. So it's a massive market, and you are seeing, I mean, you see Monty Desai's reaction to Bharat Ramraj's piece this morning, and you will see that is a kind of a market that the ICC would love to capture, and they have. What a great story Nepal is. Coming to the US, I think the whole dynamic of the sport can change. For the longest time, ICC was trying to capture and get into the US market and was failing. And there is a reason for that. The reason is the American cricket establishment, the nodal body of USA cricket. There was a lot of infighting. I know people who have stood for the election. For example, my friend Ram Vardarajan stood for the election for US presidency. So there was a lot of infighting between these two people. But now, all of a sudden, with this Major League Cricket and the fact that IPL teams have invested in it, no other reason. IPL teams, Kolkata, Chennai, these IPL teams have invested in the US cricketing establishment. You are seeing a complete transformation. And I'm very keen as to see what happens to the valuation of these teams, what happens when they play in July, what happens if you see the drafts, Stoinis, Mitchell Marsh, Unmukh Chand, some of the bigger names, Wanindu Hasaranga, they are getting drafted into the US cricket scene. It's a big moment for cricket. And let me also say that, RevSportz will be there. We have Sean Brown, US Sports Radio presenter, broadcaster. Sean is sending us a ground report, and Sean will cover the Major League Cricket tournament from Houston, Texas, and will give us every possible ground report in July.
Absolutely, that would be great. And personally, I am very excited for this Major League Cricket. As you know, I always try to find out the new things in sports to explore. Devashish, coming to you, these not so cricketing nations, as we can say, Nepal's craze, USA bringing in this league with the big names in cricket, Mitchell Marsh, Aaron Finch, Hasaranga. How does this stand for the development of the sport as a whole? What do you see going it forward?
Yeah, see, Ron, for cricket to be a global sport, means for an Olympic sport, you need to have more associate nations coming and playing. And that is what has done. Means obviously US is a huge market, as Boryada said. So and that's the reason the IPL teams have invested. So it's a giant leap in the right direction, I would say. Because for cricket to be a global sport, because cricket is now played by mainly 10 top teams, but you need to grow that number. See, if you consider FIFA World Cup, they have grown that number, extended number to 48. So if until and unless you keep on developing, you keep on growing, you keep on having teams, newer teams, the sport itself will not grow. So cricket, I think, and it's a right move in the right direction. And obviously, we saw the craze in that. And I also gone through that Bharat piece. Obviously, it's a great piece. And we could see the craze, means, and that Guru Shishya relationship between the coach and the players. means that is what you need, obviously, and the numbers, the turnouts. I mean, obviously, to be qualifying for the qualifiers and to be beating a team like UAE, it's a huge success for Nepal cricket, and it's only going to it's an untapped market. See, if
Absolutely.
you
That
look
is
at
what it is.
as a whole, obviously, it's a subcontinent teams that rather. So I think Nepal's inclusion will definitely give a huge boost.
Absolutely. And coming to this today's match, India versus Australia, the series decider, second match, India lost. Boryada, coming to you, the World Cup is there. India won't be playing much ODI series after this tournament. This Australia India series is such a big series. How important will this match be in terms of the World Cup coming in? What changes do you see in the team going forward?
See, from the standpoint of the World Cup, it is not important. What is important is to sort out your batting problems. Because you now know where the issue is. You've got to sort the problems against the left arm pace. And the left arm pace of Mitchell Stark, which is serious pace, 145 plus. So
Yeah.
if India solves that, and I see no reason why India won't. India will. I mean, yes, one match, 115 all out, 117 all out, and all hell breaks loose. That's fine. You've had a bad day. You'll come back. You'll come back strong. It's a good batting unit. I mean, so these, ahead of a big tournament like the World Cup, kind of sort of collapse like this is actually not bad. It's a kind of a sign. It gives you that kick that you need. It gives you that push that you need. That there's no chance for complacency. Even if we are playing at home, this can happen to us. If it happens in a knockout game, it's good night World Cup. So it's sort of like a wake up call, like an alarm, and you will get better at that. So I am one who will look at that positively, saying that okay, the bad day had to happen, it has happened, and the team now knows what mistake it can't make, and it will play Mitchell Stark in a different manner. Mitchell Stark conceded 51 runs in 8 overs, which means 6.5 and over. You don't need to go at 6.5. You play Mitchell Stark at 3 and over, 4 and over. It's an ODI. How does it matter? You attack
Yeah.
Cameron Green, you attack a Stoinis, you attack somebody else. What is the need to attack a Mitchell Stark? You don't. Just play him out. Play the first 3-4 overs out without conceding a wicket. Yes, you get a Surya Kumar Yadav kind of delivery, different matter. Right? Ball swings from nowhere and comes in and top delivery. Both matches, top delivery. And look at us fans, and I would want to go to Devashish also on this. Surya Kumar Yadav was God's incarnation on earth with the T20 was on. Now he is rubbish. This massive craze, I mean, from either you are a great or you are complete nonsense. There has to be somewhere in between, right? He's a decent player. Give him some opportunity. He's played 2 matches. He's failed in 2. Allow him 4-5 matches. Who says? And the moment you see IPL, and our problem is, we will see IPL and we will say, look, Surya answers his critics. Look, KL Rahul answers his critics. Sorry, KL Rahul got a good score in an ODI, not test match cricket. The test match cricket problems are there in test match cricket. What he's done is he's cemented his place in the ODI setup as a wicketkeeper batter. For us, we will mix every format and then start making claims which have really no basis.
Devashish, your thoughts on that? Surya Kumar Yadav,
Let us
give him some
for
time.
Surya, the problem is on both occasions he has gone inside the third over. And obviously, when the ball is simming and swinging, the ball is new with the ODI format, 2 new balls, and someone of the caliber of Mitchell Stark, obviously, you hardly had time. And remember, it is a first ball duck, so you hardly had time to adjust to the conditions, situations, and so obviously, ideally, had it been he walking in at say around 10 overs, things should have been different. The openers has hardly given him that cushion, means obviously going inside third over in both the matches, inside the third over. So and when the ball is swinging and swinging, so let us give him the benefit of doubt. And as Rohit Sharma in his last match press conference did say that he is going to give him at least 7 to 10 matches. And so and obviously as you rightly said that obviously time is definitely running for Surya, because India plays how many matches? 3 matches against West Indies in the tour West Indies and Asia Cup. So not at 6 matches, 6 ODIs, if I'm not wrong. 6
6 or 7,
ODIs,
yeah.
next 6, including this is 7 matches. So I think time is running out for Surya.
Okay. So Boryada, yesterday we were talking, me and Devashi were talking about the Indian number 4 position. Your thoughts on that going forward? If Shreyas Iyer also injured,
Yeah, and
India's
from what
number
I
4.
hear, Shreyas Iyer is out of the IPL fully. That's what I
Yeah.
hear. That Shreyas is gone from the IPL full and he's also gone from the WTC. So it's an injury that will keep him out for at least 3 months. So Shreyas is gone for the full IPL. So that is the first thing that one is hearing. Not good news for Shreyas Iyer at all. So, and by the way, this 3 months, excuse me, 3 months is not certain yet. It can be more. If it is more than, who knows? So you to find your number 4. It's an outrageous kind of thought that why not somebody like an Ajinkya Rahane for that one-off test match in England? Because you've tried a Surya against the moving ball. Do you want to go to a Surya or do you want to go to a tried and tested Ajinkya Rahane? Because Ajinkya Rahane, if you remember, has played some of his best knocks in England, including that 100 at Lords on a seaming wicket. Ajinkya Rahane, send him early to go play county cricket a little bit. I know he's there for Chennai, but thereafter, he's got that experience. He's been there, done that for India in difficult circumstances. So that's for the Test match, World Test match final. Coming to the number 4 position in ODIs, now Surya Kumar Yadav has the opportunity of his lifetime to grab it, as Devashish said. Grab it and you play a World Cup, for God's sake. You ask Rohit Sharma, he will still tell you 2011 World Cup hurts. The fact that he did not play. This is a home World Cup. Anyone will dream of playing the home World Cup. Can a Sanju Samson step up? Can a Surya Kumar Yadav step up? There are players. It's not as if we don't have batters. Of course we do. If a Sanju Samson steps up, he provides another opportunity or another option for a wicket-keeping option. Right? So there are multiple options there. We need to see who steps up. But as Devashish said, it is time you do. Because it's time you grab these opportunities and make the most of them.
Absolutely. And Devashish, so many injuries in the Indian team. Your thoughts on that? So many injuries.
Yeah, obviously it's a bit concerning because and these injuries, they are taking a toll on the cricketers. Obviously, we saw Bumrah. He is also doubtful for the World Cup, which is going to be played in October and November. Then now you have that Boryada said it's, missing Shreyas for 3 months, and he has done well. Remember, he has done well in Test matches, and obviously he will be missed big time. And perhaps this might be the right time for someone to for the Indian team management to drop someone like a Ajinkya Rahane. Yeah, he's a decent batter. He has been out, but he has played in domestic cricket and he has done well for Mumbai. So maybe ideally, and he has the experience of playing in England. Means he has played county cricket. He has scored 100 in England. So why not? Why not try him? But the problem is that he is playing in the IPL. So will that franchise allow him to go and play county cricket? Another good. So that those are and obviously. We need BCCI need to be transparent as to who is taking this call about rushing in the players. We saw what happened with Bumrah. We are now seeing what is happened with Shreyas. So they need to be transparent as to how long he is going to miss and stuff like that.
Okay.
The other thing about Ajinkya Rahane is in England, it is as important to take your opportunities behind the wicket in terms of catching. Ajinkya Rahane is still your best slip fielder or gully fielder. If Ajinkya Rahane is there, you will hardly drop any. So you need, if there is an edge from someone, and there will be, you cannot drop. Ajinkya Rahane can be an absolute asset against spin and an absolute asset against pace in that behind the wickets cordon. So that's another plus from Ajinkya Rahane.
And I just want to add one thing is that the BCCI, obviously they have already decided that they are going to send in few players early because the league stage is finishing on 28th April, Boryada, if I'm not wrong. The
21st May. 2 weeks early.
So 2 weeks early. So immediately they should send in the players who have not qualified for the playoffs. Maybe go and have a camp, which was the case in the last time in India played that one-off test match. They had a long camp, they had a week's camp. So ideally, they should need to organize a practice match if BCCI can, if they need to organize a practice match so that the players who have been in England to acclimatize, they can play. Because match, nothing beats a match practice on any day. Like, you might practice and practice at the nets for hours, but when it comes to match, obviously that is BCCI's headache now. They need to organize a good team, good county 11, so that Indians get a good practice match before they actually play Australia in the final.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then you can also try KL Rahul in the middle order as a wicketkeeper. That gives your batting that much depth. So you've got to think about it. KL Rahul replacing Kona Bharat is a possibility. If you don't want to do that, you play KL Rahul in the middle as Shreyas Iyer's replacement. But get him there, because again he has the experience. If you want to play him there, so these are opportunities that you've got to think about and make the most of it.
Buryada, coming to you, the Indian going with the three spinners. Do you think that is they will continue going with three spinners? And do you agree to this strategy of the Indian team?
If you score 117, whether you go in with 5 spinners or 5 fast bowlers, how does it matter? Devashish will finish it off in 10 overs, right? So Australia just went for hammered. I mean, look at the WPL match yesterday. You will know the same. I mean, you don't score runs, any team will kill you. So it's like that. I mean, the moment you got all out for 117, the game was over. So 3 spinners, 2 spinners, how does it even matter? But in the first game, India did well. 188 all out Australia after getting to a good start of 77 for 1. India did extremely well. See, I don't take that second match as an index. It was an aberration.
Yeah,
Let's watch
absolutely.
today. Let's watch today. And what is your strength? I mean, Kuldeep Yadav is your strength. Spinners are your strength. So why not? Why not play spinners in and leading up to the World Cup? If that is your strength, you go with that. You go with that. And now we are hearing multiple cities. If you see the conditions where India will play, you've got to also keep everybody match fit. Unlike in 2019, where all of a sudden when the semi-finals came, we didn't know who to play at number 4. We rushed Rishabh Pant in, and all of a sudden Rishabh Pant was exposed, and Dinesh Karthik was batted when it was unfair on Dinesh Karthik as well, and that cost us the World Cup campaign when we had topped the group. So you cannot make the same mistake, and you have to be prepared with all your players.
Devashi, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, absolutely. We did speak yesterday as well, because number four slot is a very important position in the 50 overs format, because you suddenly it's 10 for 2 and number 4 walks in. All he has to do is to anchor the innings. Someone who has the technique, because the ball will be new. The conditions will ideally favor the fast bowler. So all you have to do, you need to have a better technique. And remember, you will be playing at the oval, and so the conditions will be slightly in favor of the slim bowlers. So I think it would be a good opportunity for someone like Ajinkya Rahane, who has a better technique, to draft him immediately, because this is the time. This is the right time to someone who has, and obviously, as Boryada said, KL Rahul should be persisted with as far as wicketkeeper batting is concerned, because KS Bharat, you cannot rely on, because he has been tried in the 3 test matches. But let's be honest, means with due respect to KS Bharat, means obviously you need to have that experience of KL Rahul to be in the middle order.
Absolutely.
You need to be a better batsman. You need to be a better batsman. That is the point. And these days, you cannot just be a good wicketkeeper, and KS Bharat hasn't even impressed. You have to score. With Adam Gilchrist, everything changed in world cricket. Rishabh Pant became Rishabh Pant because of the fact that he's a batter like that, a Quinton de Kock, a Joss Butler, a Rishabh Pant. If you take a look at these fellows, you will see the kind of impact they've had on world cricket. And why? Because they are game-changing batters. KS Bharat is not a game-changing batter. KL Rahul can be. He's also an opener, a possible game-changing batter. So you've got to think out of the box for a WTC final.
Absolutely.
Even
and my last
cricket. Now, just a question. When it's 10 for 2, why are you sending Surya Kumar Yadav? Send KL Rahul. Why can't you be the floating option?
Absolutely.
KL Rahul is an opener. Send him in. Let him play out the new ball. Let him play out that 10 overs and then get Surya Kumar Yadav in. What is this hard and fast thing that you've got to send in Surya Kumar Yadav? No. 4 and 5 can interchange. KL Rahul comes up the order the moment there's a mini collapse at the top. If there's no collapse, 75 for 2, Surya Kumar Yadav walks in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So these are the changes that the team management and the captain needs to have.
Plan A, plan B. As Boriada rightly said, means why not send a KL Rahul? And that's a great point. Great point by Boriada. Why not send KL Rahul if it's 10 for 2 or 20, 30 for 2 rather? Means we obviously get Surya to bat in at number 4 if it's 75 for 2 or 50 for 2. At least that new ball, you take away the shine from the new ball. So I think it's a very, very great point. Great point.
You can remember that 2011 final when Dhoni walked in himself. We have seen it in the movie, but I don't know about the situation actually inside the dressing room. But
that's how it happened. It was an out of the box call. Yuvraj Singh, the man of the tournament, did not walk in, and MS Dhoni told Gary Kirsten he's walking in, and he walked in. And look at what happened. The rest of history. Look, in modern sport, you cannot be sort of stereotypical, A, B, C, D. India also has to think out of the box, and Rohit Sharma, Rahul Dravid will. I am one of those people who, come on, I repeat, the last game was an aberration. Our problem is one loss. You've just won a series against Australia in Test cricket. People have forgotten it. In one loss, and all hell breaks loose. Oh, we are a rubbish team. We can't play left arm pace. We can't do this. We can't do that. What nonsense. It's still 1-1. So then you mean to say Australia also was gone out for 188 after being 77 for 1. So effectively they got bowled out for 100 runs. They also can't play seam bowling. What is this? Why? Calm down. Yes, there are issues, and Mitchell Starc is not a riffraff bowler. He's the greatest bowler in the world at this point in time if he's in form. So give the man his due. India will get better. And if you take a look at the dismissals, Shubman Gill, the way he got out the first game, it was a throwaway wicket. Shubman Gill has far more talent, can be tighter. And if you take a look at Surya Kumar Yadav's dismissals, Devashish is 200% right. That ball first up, any player will struggle. Incoming delivery at that pace, hitting him at the back leg, come on, that's a top-notch ball to face first up. Give Surya also a bit of time. Our problem is it's like instant 2-minute noodles. You deliver, if it doesn't work, you're out. It can't be like that.
Absolutely. And before we move on to the other discussions, Boriada, your thoughts on David Warner, because he has not played the first 2 games. Mitchell Marsh got some runs. When he comes back, what happens to the team? Have you had a chat with him?
Mitch Marsh goes down 1 notch, and Davy is just too good. Especially in white ball cricket at the moment. In red ball, he struggled a little bit. But in white ball cricket, David Warner at the top along with Travis Head is your go-to man. And he's the captain of the Delhi side. I know he's fit. I've spoken to him when he came over to India, had a long chat with him. He's fit, raring to go. One of those people who loves India. David Warner, definitely, there's no debate that David Warner has to be there for Australia. And look at Delhi. David Warner, the other day, I was sort of chatting with them about the Delhi WPL team, and look at what happened last night. They made the finals, and the only team to have made the finals, that Jamie Rodriguez catch the other night of Haley Matthews, the Jamie Rodriguez flop dance, or whatever that floss dance, whatever it is called. Devashish can do that for us. But Delhi has made the final. Park Jindal is delighted. And of course, Saurav Ganguly will be thrilled, because as director of cricket, that's his first thing. His team has made the final as the only team of WPL. Saurav is God's child. All of a sudden, Mumbai Indians relegated to second place. Delhi Capitals makes it to the final. They have 2 cracks now. They are directly there. Have a crack at the inaugural WTAPL title. Imagine if they win it. What will that mean for Saurav Ganguly? Director of cricket for Delhi, they win the inaugural title, and they have the team to win it. I am actually of the opinion that now Mumbai will be under pressure against UP Warriors. Because Mumbai all of a sudden have lost a couple, and UP beat them in the last game when the 2 teams played. So, and if you see somebody like a Grace Harris, if you see, yes, Deepti Sharma puzzles me. Why would you play 4 dot balls in the 16th over? Much too good to do that. But a Grace Harris, a Talia McGrath, all of a sudden have come into form. Chased down 178 against Gujarat Giants the other day. And you feel, hello, does Mumbai have competition? And the story is yes. Alyssa Healy gets going. Grace Harris gets going. Talia McGrath gets going. 3 Australians in that lineup. And of course, against Harmanpreet Kaur, that's a juicy playoff.
Absolutely, absolutely. It will be interesting to see. And playoffs are always great. We recently saw the ISL playoffs, so cracking matches. We are having the WPL playoffs. It will be great. And before you go, Debashish, yesterday you went to the KKR training. You saw your Dre Ras. You were talking about Dre Ras, watching Dre Ras. Tell us about it.
But Devashish, is he the captain? Now that Shreyas is gone, what is your take? Can he be the captain?
I think Boriada, I think definitely Andre Russell is definitely an option. Definitely an option means obviously, because Knight Riders management will look at someone who is a regular in all the matches. He's a certainty. Obviously, until and unless if he carries an injury midway in the season, because great Andre Russell will definitely be there in the playing 11 for all the matches. So they are looking for someone who can who can inspire the side, which is lead from the front, and did. Andrew Russell is a perfect man, and you can he's the only cricketer, overseas cricketer, to turn up for the preparatory camp. Obviously, the Team Saudi and others will.
Nice.
As I was saying, obviously, KKR does have a few options in Team Saudi, Nitish Rana, but then when it comes to Andre Russell, means obviously he can be the game-changing player for Knight Riders, and he has done over the years for KKR. If you ask me, and he looked very jovial yesterday. He was charged up.
he always
So
is.
actually, he has got some what to say, good vibes. Means he can also sense that
Absolutely.
this might be a good opportunity for him to lead the KKR.
Okay. How did you see him batting yesterday?
Obviously, we are not allowed to go indoors, but that a clip of that was shared
Yeah.
by KKR management. It showed that he was obviously it is indoors, means obviously. So he was tonking the ball.
The
So
taking time
yeah,
was so
and
soon to the years.
Andre Russell in form in his form can destroy any bowling attack. And because this is his cup of tea, the T20 format is his cup of tea. Means obviously, and he will have new bats this time round. Obviously, will those bats will give him runs. It's time to see, because he went to Mirat in that SS factory where he got some
Yeah.
few bats, new bats. He was batting with the new bats. Hopefully, we'll get to see sponsors on those bats soon. And Andre Russell, he's a crowd favorite for the Kolkata Knight Riders fan. And you want some inspiration, obviously. There has been a lot of talk about KKR's captaincy in last few seasons. Means, obviously, there were too much talks about when Dinesh Karthik was the captain. Then you had you need someone who can lead you from the front, like Gautam Gambhir when he used to be the captain of KKR. You need that guy who will definitely push the other players in the side. That is what you want, and Bredas perfectly fits in that role.
Okay, Devashish, before you go, Boyada, your thoughts on Dreras as the captain, and then we'll continue with the other show.
Yeah, I mean, who do they have? I think he's the best option because, as Devashish
Yeah.
rightly said, Team Saudi is not a certainty. Nitish Rana, no, as a captain, maybe not, because you also have to have heft, and as you know, Nitish Rana doesn't have that kind of heft yet. Let's put it that way. So Andre Russell, absolutely a possible captain candidate, provided he's fit for the entire season. He's captained the Jamaica Talawas in the past. He's had captaincy experience in the past. So there's no reason why he can't. And home and away, Kolkata will support him big time. He's a match winner. Only thing is, Devashish Sen cannot wear a Gujarat Giants t-shirt every day and talk about KKR. So we've got to give him a KKR t-shirt. I'll have to request Venki Mysore to immediately send Devashish Sen.
One for me, one for me.
The one for you as well. Okay.
Okay.
But then what? Big time coming. India plays their match against Myanmar in football.
India versus Myanmar. Boyada, do you think playing against Myanmar 159 in this tri-series actually helps India going forward?
No, it doesn't. Because again, you have to get better by playing teams which are above you. But it's okay. I mean, a national team game is a national team game. So one has to wait and see. And the one point that India has to now immediately delve on is who after Sunil Chhetri. when you drop Sunil or get him post the half-time break, who is the starter? Is it Ishan Pandita? Who is your replacement for Sunil Chhetri long term? Who is the replacement? Who is your positive number 10? Who is the scorer? Unfortunately for the Indian side, we don't have a scorer who will be able to replace Chhetri. That is Igor Stimach's number one issue, according to me. Who replaces Chhetri? And against Myanmar, this is your ground to experiment. That's why it's an important game. Try people out. Because against teams like Myanmar, you can do these experiments. Against a higher ranked Saudi Arabia or Kuwait or Iraq or Iran, you can't do these experiments. They'll kill you. So do these experiments now and figure out who after Chhetri.
We have in the squad, we have Naudin Mahesh, Manveer Singh, but yes, Naudin Mahesh has played a bit well on and off matches for East Bengal, and Manveer Singh, we have seen he has not proved to be that replacement for Sunil Chhetri. And Ishan Pandita, I don't know. Ishan Pandita.
What I'm getting to know is that actually Igor Stimach might bench all the players who were involved in that ISL final. Means ATK Mohun and Bangalore FC, all the players won't be playing in that playing 11 for the first match. So the likes of Sunil Chhetri, Sanjay Singh, Pritam Kotal, all sits in the bench, and it's a perfect opportunity to draft in youngsters. You have someone like Purba Lachempa or
and a new face in the world.
It will be good. But
my point is very simple. My point is very simple. I mean, whether it is Manveer, but you are saying Manveer hasn't done well. But has Manveer been played as a positive striker by anybody? Even in the Mohun Bagan team? No. Manveer has operated from the flank. Sometimes is operated at the back. He has always operated from the wing, but not as a positive number 10 striker. Give him the opportunity and see. You've got to now play people and give them the opportunity to be your number 10. Because Chhetri cannot be your long-term answer. Even Chhetri, unfortunately, every good thing has to come to an end. Chhetri is in his last legs. I mean, because it's Chhetri, at 38, he tried what he tried the other day. He's a legend, man. He's a crazy guy in terms of his fitness. Sunil is one of the biggest role models you will see in your sport. But even a role model, Sania Mirza, has to move on. Sunil Chhetri has to move on. Who after? There's nobody after Sania. There's nobody after Sunil. There was nobody after Mahesh. There was nobody after Leander. And all of a sudden, there's a void. No doubles team, no women singles, no Sunil Chhetri replacement. What are we talking about? In a country of 1 billion plus, you mean to say there's no talent? Nonsense. So that is where I think Indian sport needs to get better. That we have to have a supply line. People will come in. Look at the better sporting nations and you will see. Like in cricket. Today Virat Kohli goes, somebody will come in. Some fellow will come and grab, whether it's a Shubman Gill, the next superstar. But someone will come in and take that spot. Why is it not happening in football? That's an answer we have to give.
And Mureva, rightly you said that about Manveer playing in the flanks and suddenly in the national team, because if you see the club matches in ISL, the forward line is always the foreigners. Indian foreign striker doesn't get.
Rahul made a valid point in our pre-final discussion. He made a point that maybe it's time that AIFF needs to restrict the overseas players to 3.
But then you are compromising with the quality of the tournament, because we have the broadcast, the sponsors playing.
See, this is the decision that you have to make. Until you need to have a strikers academy or something like that where you develop the strikers. Because who after Sunil Chhetri? No one. You had a Baisu Bhutia, then you have a Sunil Chhetri, but who after Sunil Chhetri? You have no one.
So you mean to say in 30 years you will have 2 strikers?
Yes.
Come on.
There was Robin Singh, but he also just JJ Lalpeklua, Robin Singh. These players, they vanished, and there was a question about Shahal Samad. Why not try him as well?
No, Sahal is more of a midfield player, CM, attacking midfielder, delivering the balls. But
unless you try someone, as Boriada rightly said, if you think that Manveer Singh can be your genuine striker, play him in that role.
That was my, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Ishan Pandita, we were talking about Ishan Pandita. He even scored as a super sub in the Asian Cup qualifiers in Salt Lake Stadium. He has been great, even in ISL. Also, he came in as a sub after the 65th minute, scored few goals. He has shown the character, but he's not in the team.
Not in the
Doesn't
side.
get. He doesn't get. I don't know, understand. I don't understand what happens to this. We see talk about someone, but we don't see that's a question that we need to answer. Right? Absolutely. So your thoughts on Devashish, your thoughts on today's both the matches, Indian cricket and football, before you
Yeah,
go.
obviously, cricket, cricket. Obviously, cricket. I can say, I reckon both on both cases, India will win. India will win. Means
What
India
cases India
are
will win?
decent side, but remember Australia after that bashing India received in the second ODI, and remember Australia are the only side to beat India in last time that both this the team played in a bilateral series, 2020. So after
In
2016, no other teams has beaten India in a bilateral series apart from Australia. So that is what is worrying me because India needs the batters need to deliver. But as far as football is concerned, I think India is the hot favorite against Myanmar. Is it
absolutely.
so?
100%. I mean, if you don't beat Myanmar and you still have to think that whether we will beat Myanmar or not, then it's not good for Indian football. Come on, boy. You've got to beat Myanmar 3-4 goals and have the confidence to do so. Against Australia, the wake up call has come, the alarm bell has rung in Vizag, but when you go to Chennai, make it count, win the series. That's what your primary target should be, and score runs. Because the moment you do that, everybody will be at ease again. And this is much too good a team not to score runs. Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Shubman Gill, Surya Kumar Yadav. Come on. I mean, they are good batters. They are great batters. So there's no reason why India will not score.
Absolutely. So thank you, Devashish, for joining. We'll see you in the pre-match show. And till then, thank you for joining. Boyada, you'll continue with the boxing and badminton discussions. So Buryada, coming to the Boxing World Championship, we have seen some great bouts yesterday. Today, a long packed day with the quarterfinals. The top players are playing. But one question before we go on to the match discussions: why this competition is not the World Cup Olympics qualification competition? Why doesn't it have a Olympic quota?
Because there's a continuous tussle going on at this point in time between the IOC and the IBA. The World Boxing Body and the IOC, they are involved in a kind of a tussle where who controls the sport. For example, the IOC wants to run boxing at the Olympic Games. The IBA wants to control that as well. And in fact, the president was on record saying, yes, under the IOC, let's have IBA control it. So there is a continuous tussle. Initially, we were told that it will be an Olympics qualifier. In February, also, there were reports that this will be an Olympics qualifier. But then if you see people like teams like the US, teams like UK boycotted it because of this ongoing and the inclusion of Russian boxers. So
Yeah.
that is another issue that IBA versus IOC. As a result, the tournament was stripped of the boxing, the Olympics qualification status. I am told IOC officials were supposed to come, see how the tournament was conducted, work closely with the IBA officials so that there is some synergy. This is important for the sport of boxing because, the sport is under threat going into LA. So unless there is harmony between IOC and IBA, there will be a problem for the sport going forward. So I hope it is sorted.
And in this tussle between the federations, the players suffer the most.
Yes, but again, I mean, you will have your Olympic qualifiers. So it's not as if the players will not have their
Yeah,
opportunity to qualify. They will have their opportunity to qualify because from the standpoint of the IOC also, they'll have to host the event at the Paris Olympics to the best of their ability. So they'll have to conduct qualifiers.
yeah. So today's bouts, we have Neetu versus Madoka Wada of Japan, Sakshi playing versus China, Manisha versus France, Amina Zidani, Sweti, Nikhat Zarin, Jasmine, Lovlina, Nupur. All the top boxers will be having their bouts today. So, how many medals do you see coming from this going forward?
Yeah, this is a good question. I mean, 8 people in the qualifiers means they are all today's bout away from a medal. And a world
Yeah,
championship medal doesn't come easy. I mean, if you see the history of Indian women's boxing, Mary Kom 6 times, Nikhat Zarin, Sarita Devi, and I think one more. So that's all you have had so far. So to win a world championship medal is a massive moment for anybody. So I at least think there are about 4 or 5 boxers here who are well capable. Neetu Gangas is extremely talented. We've seen that at the Commonwealth. Lavlina making it to the 75, increasing her weight category, looks solid. Good bout yesterday. Nikhat Zareen breezed past her opponent, was in her element compared to the second round. In the second round, the second round of the second round was a problem. So far, the only round where I've seen Nikhat Zareen sort of struggle a little bit was in the second round against the Algerian. Other than that, Nikhat Zareen has looked absolute top draw. So I would think about 4 or 5 boxers, if they make it to the semi-finals. The world president was on record saying India is the new home of women's boxing, and if you come away with 4 or 5 medals, you justify that comment.
Absolutely. And in badminton also, we have the Swiss Open going up, but Trisha Jolie and Gayatri Gopichand's pair lost yesterday. They were playing the All England few days back, and now this big competition again. Fatigue.
I think so, because I was following it. It was around 2 a.m. in the morning against the Indonesian player, and they lost 21-14, 21-14. It was basically just.
I think there has been. Buria, you are on mute. Buria, can't hear you. Can't hear you, Buria. Can you please log out and then rejoin? So there has been some technical issues. Yes, and in the Swiss Open also today we have HS Prannoy playing against Shi Yuki of China in the round of 32. PV Sindhu will be playing against Janjira Settlement of Switzerland. Satvik Chirag pair will be playing against the Malaysian pair Boon and Wang. Lakshya Sen will be playing versus Lee Chuk of Hong Kong in the round of 32, and Kidambi Srikanth versus Wing Hang of China. Again, the top shuttlers will be playing is Buria.
If you can hear me now, I think it was fatigue because they played on the Saturday, and within 2 days you've traveled again from England to Switzerland, and then you were on court, and that too at 2 a.m., which means what? It was about 10 p.m. at night in Switzerland. Now that's tough on anybody, and against when you've played a semi-final, a grueling semi-final matches every day, fatigue can absolutely catch up. So yes, possible. Having said that, you are playing elite sport, and you're expected to do well time and again. So for Gayatri and Triza, a pair that is coming up and doing well, one would expect them to have consistency and do well every time they turn up. So that's what it is, but I don't think we need to be too harsh on them given the kind of grueling schedule that there is at the moment. This is a tournament where Satvik and Chirag are seeded second. This is a tournament they need to win. They need to come back and win, because Malaysian Open was semi-finals, but after that we've seen Satvik and Chirag lose. Obviously Indian Open they withdrew because of injury, and then All England they lost the second round. So you would expect a Satvik and Chirag to come back into their element. You would want a Prannoy to win close matches. Lakshya, who has fallen in the world rankings to 26 now, according to the latest rankings. If he has to qualify for the Olympics, he has to come back. So for Lakshya, the road starts now. For Srikanth, the road starts now. Most importantly, for Sindhu, it is very important to have game time and match time under her belt and climb back again.
Absolutely. And all the top players that you talked about, all the top shuttlers will be playing today in the round of 32 matches. We will be updating you in the real time, and we'll have the live show, the pre-match India versus ODI, India versus Australia third ODI pre-match show live from the studio. So lots in store. We have the ground report from LA in the Houston for the Major League Cricket, and so lots coming up in your way. So keep following RevSportz. It was lovely talking to you, Buryada, and we'll see you in the evening in the pre-match show. So thank you for joining, and we'll be back with the teeing off tomorrow. Thank you.